All right, morning. Well, we'll recap Saturday's game. Obviously, a big conference win for us. What was that? We said 3 conference games decided by less than 6 points, or 6 points. So at least we know our hearts are all working. And but just couldn't be prouder of this group just for fighting and believing in each other, not giving up. And once again, there were times in that game that they could have done that. But I think it was really a true team effort. I thought all 3 phases, start with special teams. We had one mistake in the special teams, which was a big one. We got to correct it. We had one guy miss a block, but really a good game by our special teams. Other than that, really proud of them. I think they've gotten a lot better. Punter punted the ball really well. Kicker made the big field goal kick. Coverage on all of our units against a really dangerous return guy. I think our offense was really solid. I think there was some times in that game, give Middle Tennessee some credit, that they frustrated us, but we made the plays, moved the ball at the end when we needed to, and then the defense really just, other than that first drive, I was really disappointed in that first drive, but after that I thought they played very well against a high-powered offense that you just held your breath every second that they had the ball. So really proud of them. Thought they played well. And kind of starting to look like the group we want them to look like, and so hopefully we're coaching them a little better. So just a big win, and I think the point for us was we wanted to start always defending our home turf, and we're doing that right now. And then now as we look to this next game, it's going to be it's time to get a road win. I would say that I think Charlotte, like a lot of teams, has been really close, and I think they made some changes a few weeks ago offensively that's really made a huge deal for them. They probably should have beat FIU. They played Marshall just right to the wire. And then last week their quarterback's out, their leading rusher is out. I think they had some defensive guys out. So to me that game is not indicative of who they are. So I believe they've got us for homecoming, so this will be a huge deal for them. And we've got to go on the road and play well and do our job. So we should not be anything but humble and guys wanting to work and get better. I think we do have some guys that are really starting to believe, in what we're doing. But we got to have a great week of practice and to go on the road and play Charlotte. Questions?
When you win close games, how much you go back and analyze kind of the plays, the punt that flips the field, or maybe a second down tackle that led that third down stop or something like that? How much you analyze that kind of stuff?
I think you look at all of that, and I think as a player, we talked to them about, what makes history. You don't know. You don't know when the La Tech becomes a historical moment in the history of this program or this game, or what play is it in a game. So, I think we all go back and say, you didn't know this play was that big, but it was. And if they'll play every play like that, then we got a chance. But, there was a catch by Ronnie Turner, coming out on a third down where he adjusts to the ball. There's the Colin Lisa play. There's defensive plays, Darius Williams with that interception down there. And then there was mistakes we made where we could have put the game away or whatever. So, I think you go back to all those plays and you really, that's what we do on Monday morning. We call that good, bad, and ugly. And it really starts with the ugly and the bad first, and then we get to the good. And I think that just reminds us that we've got work to do and what those plays are. But we do hone in on those good plays that really made the difference in the game. And you want players to appreciate that.
With Charlotte, the quarterback that missed last week, but he's the regular guy.
Yeah.
It seems like every week he's one of the leading rushers and also the leading passer. Is he really a good dual threat guy?
He is unbelievably dynamic. I think they figured that out, 3 or 4 weeks into that everything now is built around his running and read option and play action passes off that. I mean, he is that explosive, that dynamic. It's the right, they've made the right move with this guy. And then, of course, it affected them, obviously, not having him last week. I mean, it was just, they're a totally different team without him. Not that the backup, I thought he came in and was solid. But the way they've schemed it up now is to feature him. And everything says he's going to be back. So, but he is that dynamic with his legs that he could take it the distance at any time. And he's got a big arm, so their O-line is really good run blockers. and then all their pass games build off that. So I think he's that dynamic and explosive.
How important is it to get a win on the road, especially travel to Southern Miss after that? And how important this Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's everything for us. I mean, we've tried to say it's all about the next game. We don't look ahead. We just focus on this. I think our guys are saying it. You know, that's all I saw out of them. I just saw serious business, and you know, I think it was we're going to enjoy every win. That locker room afterwards was just another great scene. I was probably a little different with them. You know, I just wanted them to know, it doesn't get any better, and you need to enjoy it. You need to appreciate these. They're so hard to get. But at the same time, we were already talking about the next one, and so that's the hard thing about this business is that, you know, it's hard to live on these great moments. But I tell them we'll enjoy all those when the off season gets here and down the road. But you know, this is big for us. I think this is that next. And I don't think we've done anything wrong on the road. I just think it takes another different mindset. I mean, you know, we're going to play somebody on their homecoming. It's going to be a big, big deal to them, and all those things that go with being in your place, sleeping in the spots you're used to sleeping in. We, you know, and different for us. So we've got to handle that. It's a big deal. Well, so glad you asked me that, because he was just named Student of the Month. I don't know if you saw that, but I mean, that's a big deal. They don't just give those things away. I mean, that's on what your effort looks like in the classroom. And I think he, like a lot of our guys, especially when you're dealing with big guys, it's a hard job. You know, when you're 6'5", 340 pounds or whatever Ant is, you know, he's lost weight, he may be less than that now, but just the daily work that goes in to get in really good shape. And it's amazing just how his body is transformed. He's an intelligent guy, you know, and I think he's starting to understand what the work looks like. He didn't have a clue. And so he had to learn that early on. But to see him progress and get into the starting lineup, and there's some things in the game he could have done better, you know, on some of those stretch blocking, but he is making a difference. And I'm just proud of where he's headed academically to go along with what he's doing on the football field, because I think that means this guy's, you know, starting to get it.
Spencer's obviously not going to sneak up on anybody
Right.
like that at this point. As you start kind of getting more into taking on the work.
Right.
What kind of things can you say?
Yeah, I think, you know, North Texas was a great example of somebody just said, we're going to load the box. So our job as coaches is not to allow them to do that. And I think, you know, our offensive guys are doing a good job of mixing it up, and you saw us explode out of different huddles and from one shift to another to hopefully take some pressure off that. But we've got to be able to run the ball. So whoever's back there, whether it's Spencer or Donnie Lee or, you know, any of those guys that's back there, we've got to be able to run the ball. And you know, there were some things Spencer could have done better in that game. You know, we got to get his pass protection better. He missed, you know, a few blocks, but he's playing really well. He's running hard. And the thing that, once again, that I talked about, and I think that whole running back group embodies that, is they're humble. You know, what can we do to get better? And hopefully, if they're selling out to stop the run, that opens up the throw game. And you know, now if they're somewhere in between, we got to be able to do both, and that's kind of what we've seen. But he played well again and had a huge run down there on the goal line. That was just a terrific touchdown run. It was terrific. You know, I mean, when we moved him from defense to offense, it was kind of the end of spring, you know, and I think it was at that point, it was, you know, somebody could tell him what it looked like. You know, this is where you're going. And then he gets his hamstring hurt at the first of camp, and that really just set him way back. And if you don't get all the reps, it hurts you. You know, with Lucius going down, which was bad, somebody gets to get those reps, and now he's getting them. And couldn't be prouder for him. He's a terrific young man and really wants to do well. So I just think as he gets more and more chances, he'll keep getting better.
Do you see his role expanding? Do you think he continues to grow?
Well, as we say, we're getting a lot of snaps. So, you know, between that whole group, you know, they've all done well. But he's got a chance to step up because there's reps to be had. Week against Louisiana Tech to kicking the game winner Saturday. They just kind of life for a kicker. I think so. I mean, I think the situations we put them in practice and you know, that whole group, the snapper, the holder, the O-line that protects for them, I mean, we try and put them in tough situations. I mean, we do it every single day for 5 minutes with pressure on them. So we want him to be in those situations, and it takes that whole group doing the right things for this guy to be successful. But that's the guy we know he is. That's what he does in practice every day. And, you know, I think he's got to learn, like a lot of people, you know, after that first PAT on, you know, the week before, he's got to put that behind him. And but that was a clutch kick when we needed it, and that's the guy he is.
Your first 3 conference games, like you said, have been decided by 6 points. Do you like winning games like that? Do you feel like your team experiencing those situations will help you, you know, later on in the season? And what have you learned from your team by, through those games?
Yeah, first I just like winning games, as I think we all do. You know, not trying to be sarcastic. It's just those are hard. I mean, they're hard on the coaches and the players, and we just want to win. I'd love for them to be easier, but I would say that's kind of the look of a conference when there's not a lot of stuff separating, and it's going to come down to who makes the play, who finds a way to win. Kind of like we keep going back to North Texas when we decided this is not who we are. We're going to find ways. We didn't really change the calls. We just started executing them and playing harder, and that's what it's going to take. You know, that's what it's going to take out of these guys. But I think that tells you about who this team is, and that's what I want to see week in it. And it's a decision you've got to make every morning when you get up, that I'm going to work like this. I know what it takes. I mean, you know, yesterday, I mean, I'm back in here, you know, 5:36 in the morning because that's what it takes. You know, it just we don't look at their record. We don't look at anything else. We just need to go back to work. And hopefully our guys are starting to figure out that's what it looks like. And that's what our opponent's going to do. They're doing the same things. But I hope it shows them and our people this is who we are. And we're going to fight and find a way to get it done.
It would be easy for your guys to look at their record and think, hey,
Correct.
Is overconfidence something that you have to kind of guard against?
I hope not. You know, I mean, I've got guys like Tevin sitting over here, you know, knowing better, and I think they'll keep them all. But I have not seen, just this morning, I don't see any of that. And it'll just been 100% how we prepare. And, you know, our goal coming into this year literally was just to be competitive in every game and know that it's going to be a fight. I mean, and we can go back earlier in the season. We can go back week to week. It's going to be another fight this week. I mean, that's what I expect, that we're going to get every single thing they have, and that's how we need to prepare and plan on it. So that is, you know, the one thing I have said, you know, one of my biggest things, this is how I was brought up with a dad as a coach, is stay humble, you know, and we don't need to get too low and we don't need to get too high. We just need to be right there, and hopefully that's the personality. I know that's what our staff looks like, so hopefully we'll stay right there.
Speaking of Tevin and a lot of these other guys who's how do you think their leadership could be midway point of the season?
You know, I think he's been outstanding all the way back to when we first, you know, used them as recruiters and telling them what it's like. The big thing for us when we had 90-something% of the team had not been in these kind of games, we had to experience that. You know, I've talked a lot about that, and now we're going to see how we handle some success. I think because the way we practice and talk and work, we're going to be good. But I tell them all the time, it goes back to the players. You know, our playing days are over, so it's what these guys respond. But they've done a good job up to this point.
How do you think your receivers have blocked downfield? So it seemed like the other night, you know, I think it was one time Tom Lisa knocked his guy around.
Yep.
Back-to-back plays type thing. How do you sell that to those guys? How do they do that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Real simple. You don't block, you don't play. And that's really the mantra we have, that we're going to throw the ball around a lot, but if you will not block for your teammate, you will not play. And I think they've learned that, you know, that we're serious about it, because we will put somebody else out there. And that, to me, is the ultimate. And I can't stand selfishness. You know, I mean, we're going to throw you the ball, you get your name in the paper, you get to do all those things, but you've got to block. And I've seen that. You know, I've seen them get better and better and better, and they have to practice like that. And you know, it's easy in that world of stats and catching the ball to get selfish. And I think they've done a good job. Our coaches have done a good job making them know you've got to block for us to throw you the ball, and they're doing that.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
All right, guys. Thank y'all. Have a good day.